So Tesla sales in Europe are continuing to plunge at the same time as other EV brands are surging. What is going on? The Verge has the story here. Tesla continues to circle the drain, they say in the headline. The company's sales in Europe plunged by nearly 50%, a sign that Tesla's brand crisis is worsening. Yes, indeed. Let's run through some of the headlines today about this. Tesla sales plummet across Europe. That's Midas Touch saying that. In electric, Tesla keeps getting worse in Europe despite electric car sales surging. Tesla Europe sales plunged 49% on brand damage, rising competition. So they have the reasons for it there. And Elon Musk can't blame Tesla's Europe crisis on weak car market. This is Fortune saying this. EVs are selling in record numbers while his drop by almost half. So pretty emphatic, isn't it? But at the same time, the Tesla share price on this very day of these headlines is up 6.94%. So it seems like there's a disconnect going on there. And you'll see if you're into investing at all, you'll see the P ratio there is now nearly 200, which if you're not into investing, that is very high. And if we go back a month, just to be sure, it's up 27% nearly just in the past month. So what is going on here? We can see sales actually plummeting in Europe. It's a very important market. So sales not going well, but the stock price going up. Of course, it's about robo-taxis. It's about the future, bro. Trust me, Elon says so. Robotaxi launch is meant to be in June, just days away now. They haven't got an exact date, I don't think, but it's coming soon. So investors are expecting that to be very good and to make the company lots of money by implication. I mean, how long is it going to take for that? We'll have to see what happens. I must say I'm pretty skeptical, but really not investment advice in any way at all whatsoever. The stock, as I said, seems to be disconnected, and it's like a meme stock at this point. It can go up even on bad news, pretty bad news day like this. So let's get into this article. Tesla continues to circle the drain. What do they say about this? So Andrew Hawkins from The Verge here says, we don't typically report on monthly sales data for one car company in one market, but this one seems particularly notable given all that's going on in the world, definitely. In another sign that Elon Musk's company is in a real tough spot, Tesla is getting absolutely demolished in Europe. It does seem like this. The company's sales in the EU, UK, and European Free Trade Association fell a staggering 49%. I mean, it is pretty incredible. It's a huge number in April year over year, even as overall battery electric vehicle sales rose. So that's the key point. Tesla's been saying, or Elon's been saying that, the overall market is down, but it's not the case. And we've got video of him saying that the whole market's down and blaming that, which is basically a lie because he would have known this. It just seems to be a blatant lie. We'll look at that video in a minute. I have put it in another video. It's a recent interview too. The new figures from the European Automobiles Manufacturer Association revealed that Tesla only logged 7,261 new vehicle registrations in April. That's nearly half of what it recorded in April 2024. The numbers are particularly notable considering Tesla recently launched the refreshed Model Y. Yes, indeed, people have been saying the numbers are down because, these cars weren't available yet, but they are available now. An update on the global bestseller, which was expected to attract a host of new customers. Instead, it appears the strategy has so far been a failure. Yes, it has been so far. By the look of it, if these numbers are anything to go by in Europe, so Tesla's falling fortunes can be chalked up to several factors, The Verge says, including rising competition from domestic manufacturers and Chinese rivals. Yes, so Chinese cars are available. Chinese EVs are available in Europe. If you're in the US, you wouldn't see those in the road because of the tariffs and everything. You won't see Chinese cars there, but they are available in Europe. They're available in Australia and New Zealand and other places. and they are significant competition. And Musk's efforts to slash federal spending for the Trump administration as part of Doge. Now, Musk's political meddling in the EU, where he came out in support of Germany's far right party, its AfD, ahead of the country's elections, appears to have done Tesla few favors as well. Indeed, that's putting it mildly. And these are some of the protest posters still. So the one on the left is from London. It's just a fresh one, gets aimed at Grok, but really the boycott is against all companies. And I think the other one is in the US because there are US figures in it. Zero emissions, zero democracy. So obviously going from those salutes that Elon did, but not just that, backing it up almost every day with far right politics. So people are not liking that. The core market that he used to have, that Tesla used to have, is seemingly gone down. So we'll get into more of this article. But in the meantime, if you're getting value out of this episode so far, I'd really appreciate it if you remember to hit that like button to help the algorithm to spread it to more people. It really does help. Thanks. All right. So Musk seems to be aware that his political activities are having an adverse effect on Tesla. He'd be pretty stupid if he didn't know this by now, although he denies it still. He recently claimed he would spend less time in Washington and focus more on his company, although he has also said he would stay involved in Trump's White House through the end of the president's term in office. Now, I think it's a bit of a ruse, him saying that he's pulling back. He's still there. He was there last week. We saw him in the Oval Office while the South African president was there, when Trump was lambasting the president and embarrassing himself in the process. And Musk was right there watching on, so he still seems to be right in there. But while Republicans were once thrilled by Musk's allegiance to Trump, the country as a whole is sick of his antics. A recent poll found that 58% of respondents had an unfavorable view of Musk, compared to 39% who viewed him favorably. And it would seem like the strategy of tying Musk closely to his company's brands has backfired. And this is that survey, the poll. Do Americans have a favorable or unfavorable view of Elon Musk? And you can see that his unfavorability has gone way up since Trump took office, since he started Doge, and his favorability has gone down. So he must see this, he must know this, and he must know that it's affected Tesla brand, even though he does not admit it. Now to this electric article. Tesla keeps getting worse in Europe despite electric car sales surging. So Tesla's situation in Europe continues to deteriorate despite electric car sales surging and the new Model Y now being available. So that is not the problem anymore. So we see there the upshot in Europe is it's down 49%. And during the same period, battery electric vehicle sales grew 26.4% in the market and 34.1% in April alone. So that's a big gap as to what Tesla is selling, and the market is growing. So there's no excuse. And it's funny that the stock market isn't reacting to that, isn't seeing that, because in any other brand, in any other company, this would be massive news, and bad news at that. And so here, last week, we reported that Tesla CEO claimed every manufacturer is experiencing demand problems in Europe, with no exception. I've got the video of him saying that, and we're going to look at that, but look at this graph first. This top line is last year, so this year tracking well below where it was last year. Really not good news if you're an investor looking at that as well. And so here is Elon talking about this. I did a whole video on this particular interview because it was a good one. The interviewer was good from Bloomberg, did not let Elon off the hook on questions at all. He got quite belligerent, quite annoyed at some points, but here he is talking about sales and how it's going. She questions him on it.
Europe is our weakest market. We're strong everywhere else. So our sales are doing well at this point. We don't anticipate any meaningful sales shortfall, and obviously the stock market recognizes that, since we're now back over $1 trillion in market cap. So clearly the market is aware of the situation. So it's already turned around.
But sales still down compared to this time last year.
In Europe.
in Europe, okay, and
Yes, but that's true of all manufacturers. There's no exceptions.
See that? He said there's no exceptions. They're all down in Europe, which plainly is not true. So that is just a lie, what he's saying there. He must know the numbers. It's not as if he doesn't know that. He would know that. He's blaming the whole market, which is not true. And it is pretty obvious what's going on here, I think. So he fails to accept that it's a political problem. His politics is the problem, particularly in Europe, where he did support the far right party in Germany. His Twitter stream, his X stream is full of far right politics. So turning people off. So this is impacting the company, and there's a boycott on Tesla. I've done many videos about the protest, the boycott. So it really is having an impact, as much as 50% in Europe. So really, it is in a tough spot. And speaking of politics, if you haven't seen the politics channel yet, I'm going to put a link to the latest video there in the pinned comment and also in the description if you want to check that out. This is the latest video. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea here. That's why I'm not putting these videos on this channel. I've got a separate channel for politics. I'm talking about authoritarianism, rising authoritarianism around the world and including in the US. So do go and check that out if you're curious. As I said, I'll put links to that. And do let me know in the comments what you think about Tesla here. Do you think that Elon is in denial, or he's just plain out lying and he's covering up and hoping that he can pull it out with robotaxis and robots? And you notice in there he talked about the stock price rather than sales, which is something that CEOs don't usually do. Very rarely do they talk about stock price rather than the actual financials of the company. So that's pretty unusual. So let me know in the comments what you think about that. But right now, I'm going to put a related video right there. Do go and see that now if you want to. And also a subscribe link on screen. Do subscribe if you want to get more of these kinds of videos from me in the very near future. Thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one.